Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is August 2021. We are in Manchester, Vermont. Manchester, Vermont. When we came to Vermont back in 2016, I really wanted to get to this area. This was like at the top of my list. But there was a lot of stuff we wanted to do kind of in northern Vermont, and we just couldn't really add this to our list the way I would have liked to have, so we did it on this trip. By the way, there's the post office in Manchester, Vermont. As I've mentioned before, I collect postmarks, and I went in there and got some postmarks. It's a really neat town. Definitely wanted some postmarks from here. Very, very historically significant, and it is a gorgeous town. Like, this is one of the most perfect towns I can conceive of. This was just a lot of fun. Nice houses. It's in Vermont. It's very green. And pretty much every business we walked into was just great. And we had just an incredibly good time here. We did stay at the 1811 house. I'll put up another video on that. But Abraham Lincoln's granddaughter actually lived there for a couple of decades. And that property, it was a bed and breakfast for a while. And it's been acquired by the Equinox property, and they operate it. But we got to stay in a place that was once lived in by Abraham Lincoln's granddaughter, and that was a real treat to me. Lots of shopping here, lots of high end shopping here. Really, we went into an outdoor, kind of an outfitters kind of store. I forget the name of it. Had some really cool stuff. And there is the fly fishing. There's a fly fishing, I think, Hall of Fame and museum here. We did not go to that, and I have some friends that have gotten on to me about skipping out on that one. Oh, Orvis. We stopped at Orvis, the Orvis store. But fly fishing is big out here. The name Lincoln is big out here. Robert Todd Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's only surviving son, ended up moving out here. He had like a summer home. He spent a lot of time here, and we toured Hilden, his home, and I'll put up another video about that also. I mentioned we stayed at the 1811 house. It's owned by the Equinox, and that's a resort, and we had a great time. Really, really, it was a thrill for me to stay at that spot. We really had a good time. The Equinox is a really interesting property too. Again, it's a resort. It's flawless. We had breakfast there one morning. Had a really nice breakfast. You're gonna pay for it, but you're gonna remember that experience for forever. So, and this is us just kind of driving towards downtown in Manchester. There's some really nice shops down here. There was a bookstore that I absolutely loved down here, and some other shops too. There was a pizza place we liked, and in fact there were just a lot, I mean like a ton of neat little stores we stopped at through here. Just about any little gift store you walk into is going to be unique and interesting, and we had just a good time walking up and down these streets. I did want to spend a lot of time, though, at our hotel. Just so you know, I wanted to mention that. This is a little stream that kind of ran through town, and it was right next to a place called The Works. Yeah, right there. I'll probably talk a little bit more about that, but that's The Works. It's a chain that we noticed in New Hampshire and Vermont, and very, for the areas they're in, for Manchester, very affordable place. Soup and sandwich. I got hooked on their iced coffee on this trip, but you can actually sit inside, sit by those windows, and enjoy your lunch looking out at that stream. And just a lot of water going through town. Wanted to mention that. Just so scenic, so relaxing. Very relaxing area just to walk around. And it's all very touristy. Straight up, it's touristy, but every place we went into, there's the bookstore, by the way. We were near the bookstore just a second ago. Very touristy area, but also very local. And we would go into places, and you had a feeling locals were hanging out, but also rubbing elbows with tourists, and it was very interesting. Appalachian Trail goes through here too, and we saw several hikers when we would stop for lunch or dinner, and yeah, so the trail goes through here, and that's very appropriate, very nice for that. And we're just driving around some more, but I thought I would take a moment to mention some of the businesses we liked through here. This is mostly the little main street here. I mentioned a moment ago that we stopped at Northshire Bookstore. Northshire Bookstore, very, very well stocked, nice bookstore. They had a selection of collectible autographed books. I love that sort of thing. They actually had some more high-end items. I was kind of impressed with their selection, and they had a lot of stuff that wasn't books. They had a lot of bookmarks, postcards, stickers. It was just a really fun place to explore. We dropped some coin there, and I don't regret it at all. And just really, they had used books, they had new books. A fun place. If you love books, it's a great place to stop and just look around. And we spent a lot of time there, and I would enjoy going back to that town for the bookstore, if nothing else. A couple floors. I mean, just somewhat of a cavernous bookstore. If you like that sort of thing, I can't say enough about them. But a good local selection. That's something I always look for in a bookstore. But we just had a darn good time there. And we also spent a little bit of time at Charlie's Coffee House, which was just cozy. I wish I'd taken a little bit of video in there. I didn't. But they just a nice. You could tell the locals go there. Just very comfortable, nice place to sit and enjoy some coffee. If I lived in this area, I'm sure I would be hanging out there all the time. And we also stopped at Cristo's Pizza, kind of an Italian pizza place. Really, really nice. And again, for this area, it wasn't too pricey. We just had a good time there. I wanted to mention them. And yeah, just driving around some more. There's I forgot there are a couple of golf courses if you're into golf. I forget the name of one. It was a little bit out of town, and later on I was reading a book I bought, and it mentioned that I think Robert Todd Lincoln actually helped co-found this particular private golf course, and it's still up and running. And I just thought that was pretty darn special. So we stayed in town a lot, but we drove out of town a little bit. There's a lot to see, even just a tad bit out of town. In fact, I'm going to say maybe 20 minutes out of town, maybe a little more. Hey, let's say 20 minutes. There's a store called H.N. Williams, and it's kind of sort of what you might call one of the Vermont country stores that you bump into all over the place, but it's huge. I mean, like it's massive. And oh, by the way, there on the left, there's the Equinox Hotel. Get an idea of how big that place is. But yeah, we went to H.N. Williams, and it was just it was over the top. It was huge. They have stickers, T-shirts, postcards, anything you might need. I'm sure the locals go there for their needs, but they had everything, and it was big, it was massive. We really enjoyed that. If you're going to be in Manchester, or if you're going to be in Vermont, you really should try to get to that store. It's kind of like a really cool country store on steroids. It just had a lot going for it. We had a good time there, and we're back at the works again. We just really enjoyed that little restaurant. But yeah, while we were at H.N. Williams, I saw a poster. Ida Mae Specker was going to be playing a concert in the area, and I thought, man, that would be something cool to see. The Specker family, kind of kind of folky, bluegrassy family out of Vermont, and they're excellent. And I've got a lot of respect for them. As we've gotten into an age where we can listen to radio stations all over the world, I kind of enjoy listening to radio stations in places I like. And I've been listening to Vermont Public Radio, VPR, has a couple of local music shows. And one of them I like a lot is All the Traditions, hosted by Robert Resnick. And it's on a couple of hours every week. They actually replay it. If you go to VPR.com, they have the VPR replay, and you can listen to that week's couple of hours of music. It's from all over the world. It's mostly very folky, very world eclectic, but kind of has a folky feel to me. And it's not exclusive to Vermont, but they do play a lot of Vermont artists. And he's played a lot of the Speckers. And John Specker, I ordered one of his CDs about a year ago. I ordered it from him, asked him to sign it, and he sent me a nice little note along with it, and sent me his phone number and told me if I ever wanted to give him a call, he'd play a song for me over the phone. And man, do I admire the spirit of that. That is somebody that just loves music and playing music, and I've got a lot of respect for the Specker family. I'm too shy to actually make that phone call, but I thought that was a very sweet offer, and that's a real musician would make an offer like that. So just wanted to mention that real quick. And if you're into music, check out VPR Replay. Like it a lot. Oh, and just a few pictures here at the end. There's the inside of the Works, the restaurant that we went by. There's a really nice sandwich my wife had. Very clean restaurant, great food, great quality food. They're big into doing the whole local product thing. There was some great corn chowder I had. In some ways, it's kind of simple. They give you, a little paper bowl and plastic forks and spoons, but the food quality is amazing. It's a nice place to sit at. Like I mentioned, there's like that there's a big window by that creek where you can kind of sit and enjoy looking out at the creek as you eat your lunch. Just loved this place. I'd love to see that chain make its way south. And that's inside of the pizza place Christo's I mentioned earlier. Great. We had a really great pizza. We noticed an Appalachian Trail hiker in here while we were here, also enjoying a nice meal. Yeah, check out that pizza. Super good quality. It was delicious. Very unique. It was still pizza, but it was something I hadn't had it before. So wanted to mention that. Northshire Bookstore. Got a few pictures. Loved this bookstore. One of my favorite bookstores I've ever stepped foot into. Before we travel, I always like to, hunt down cool independent coffee shops and bookstores. And this is just a really well done bookstore with a lot to look through, as you can see. And this is just a small part of that bookstore. There's a whole lot more going on there. You could spend hours here if you enjoy looking at books. And very, very local flavored kind of place. Just really enjoyed being there. Yeah, there's the poster. As you can see, Ada Mae Specker is going to be playing. Actually, I think I took that picture in Burlington, but I noticed a poster at H.N. Williams also about that concert. That's definitely a show I'd love to see live. Oh yeah, and I took a few pictures inside of H.N. Williams. Again, this isn't exactly in Manchester, but it's maybe a 20-minute drive out. And even, this was kind of the main building we went into, and they had, the kind of stuff a traveler might need, aspirin and things like that, snacks. And but then they also have almost like a museum feel as you go through. Lots of cool old tool items hanging on the walls and posters. And then they had like entire sections of clothes. My wife found a really cool t-shirt she liked. Yeah, lots of local. I'm sure they had local honey and things like that. We actually bought some goat cheese that we snacked on later here. Just a wonderful store. This is definitely something to think about putting on your list when you go to Vermont, H.N. Williams. But yeah, again, Manchester, Vermont. Wanted to talk about that a little bit.